Glacier Guides and Montana Raft. It's another gorgeous Friday afternoon here in West Glacier. It's about 65 degrees and sunny. It feels more like 75 right now. We've got people out on the rivers and we're bringing you the 4th River Roads and Trails Report for 2018. Let's start with those rivers again. Like I said, we got people out rafting the whitewater and the scenic sections of the Middle Fork today. The rivers are still fast, but they're definitely clearing up and they're starting to drop. The Middle Fork is running at 6,820 CFS today and 4.68 feet. For comparison, the median flow is 9,600, so it's running a good bit below that right now, actually. The North Fork of the Flathead River is running at 5,230 CFS today, 4.88 feet. Median flows there are typically 9,580. So yeah, the rivers are definitely dropping. We've got quite a bit of rain in the forecast for the weekend, so we may see the flows come back up. Either way, always be diligent when running those wild and scenic rivers. Go with a guide, go with someone who could be a guide, wear your PFD, all those things. Speaking of the wild and scenic rivers, we are throwing a party tomorrow and we're really excited about it. Tomorrow happens to be our 21st annual Rafting for Refuse event where we invite the public to come out and help us clean up the river and the put-ins and the takeouts. That event is full, but at 1 o'clock we invite everyone to come join us for a free cookout. There's going to be free beer from Sierra Nevada, and we're going to have a speaker series on the Wild and Scenic Rivers Act here under our pavilion, so we'll all be very, very dry. We're hosting this with a number of important local partners, including Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks, Citizens for a Better Flathead, the Bob Marshall Wilderness Foundation, the Glacier National Park Conservancy, the Crown of the Continent Geotourism Council, and I think I'm forgetting one or two, but it's going to be a great time. We're going to have booths and, like I said, a free cookout and free beer, so come check it out at 1 o'clock here tomorrow at Glacier Guides and Montana Raft. Our speakers do include Coulter Pence, who's our Wild and Scenic Rivers Manager with the Flathead National Forest, Carol Treadwell, who's the Executive Director of the Bob Marshall Wilderness Foundation. She'll be talking about the importance of clean water to wilderness. Cassie Heron, who's with the Northern Rockies Division of American Rivers, which is a national nonprofit dedicated to protecting rivers. Keith Meehan, who's a guide of ours for over 20 years now, and also a school teacher in Whitefish, so you may recognize him if you're local. He'll be talking more about the human aspect of our rivers. And Debo Powers, who's the president of the North Fork Homeowners Association. So please do come join us for that speaker series at 1 tomorrow. Moving on to the roads. So just like we reported last week, the plows are at Logan Pass, but the big news in the park this week is that the plows have also tackled the famous big drift, snow drift, and we're really happy about that. So Park Service is busy. They're working on the guardrails. They're taking the debris off the road. They're getting those bathrooms working for you at Logan Pass, which is always convenient. We don't know when the road will open. The phone keeps ringing. You can keep calling. We still don't know, but you will probably hear the large cheer going up from West Glacier from all of us and all of our business partners out here when that road does open, which we expect will be pretty soon here. As last week, the west side's open to avalanche. Hiker-biker access is to the loop. After the plows turn the sign for the day, you're welcome to keep going as far as your legs can take you. On the east side, there's vehicle access to Jackson Glacier, and the hiker-biker access is to Sayou Bend. They're still running the spring hiker-biker shuttle on the weekend, so that'll be happening this weekend. I think that this is going to be the last weekend to bike the Going to the Sun Road without cars. So if you haven't done it, if you need a bike, come out and grab one from us. We've got a bunch for rent. Go out with your friends and see how far you can go up the road. Other park roads, everything's open except for the Cut Bank Road, which does remain closed due to the weather. In the North Fork area of the park, there's really nothing new to report, but we'll remind you that the inside North Fork Road is currently closed at the Logging Creek Ranger Station and Fish Creek for construction. We do think that's a really fun place to take a mountain bike if you've got one. Everything else in the North Fork is open, so we'll move on to the trails. Belly River Country, our backpacking guides have been back there quite a bit in the last week or two, and they're telling us that the Cosley campground has a new kitchen area. It's a little bit bigger, and the trail has been slightly rerouted in that area as a result. Gable Pass, is almost already completely free and clear of snow, which is somewhat amazing. And Elizabeth Lake, the foot is clear of snow, and the trail to Helen Lake is also clear of trees and snow, although there is some snow at the foot of Hidden Lake. At Red Gap Pass, the Park Service is reporting that hiking poles could be helpful for stability, but they're not completely necessary. There's some other details about Red Gap Pass that we put out in our weekly email, which is much more detailed than our video report. If you want to jump on that email list, it's Courtney at glacierguides.com. Just let me know that you want to sign up for the Rivers, Roads, and Trails report. Moving over to Goat Hunt, the North Boundary Trail and the Waterton Lake Shore Trail both remain closed due to hazardous conditions, but in happier news, the Goat Hunt webcam is back, so maybe you can't go there in real life, but you can check it out online. Coming down here to our backyard, the Lake McDonald area, the Sperry Chalet Trail. As we've been reporting, the area immediately surrounding the chalet is closed due to construction. The Park Service did announce this week that the initial construction contract has been awarded to the Dick Anderson construction firm out of Great Falls, Montana, which has worked on the chalet in the past. After it was closed for a few years there in the 90s, Dick Anderson helped reopen it. So that's exciting news. The Sperry Chalet Trail, though, is open, and the first 5.7 miles of the trail are clear. There is one snowfield covering the trail about 7/10 of a mile before the chalet. It's about 100 feet across, and there's a 35 to 40% slope angle, so please be very cautious when crossing this or any other snowfield. The last half mile of before the chalet is 100% snow covered, but it is well treaded, so with sturdy footwear and trekking poles, you'll probably be good to go there. There is 1.5 to 2.5 feet of snow currently persisting at Sperry Chalet. Other news in the Lake McDonald area to report: the Flat Top Mountain Trail to 50 Mountain Mineral Creek Suspension Bridge was installed earlier this week. 50 Mountain Campground is still designated as winter status. The Loop Trail, there's 100% snow cover 3 miles from the Loop. There's about 50 trees down. The Park Service is projecting that the hand line, the Rim Rock hand line that is in between Logan Pass and Granite Park Chalet, they're hoping to install it around June 29th. That is not a hard deadline, but the Highline Trail cannot open before that happens, of course. Huckleberry Lookout Trail, there's a small tree down. There's about 15 patches of snow on the trail between the saddle and the lookout. Park Service is recommending hiking poles for stability. I always recommend those as well. Lincoln Creek and Lake Trails, those trails are closed. There is a dead moose by the cabin, so for safety's sake, the Park Service has those trails closed. Apgar Lookout is snow-free. There's no trees. It's pretty buggy. Pack your bear spray. Looking at the mini glacier area of the park, oh, wonderful, beloved mini glacier. Grinnell Lake to Pegan Pass. The footbridge over the creek near the lake is out, and there is a ford if you're hiking out of the Grinnell Lake area on the South Josephine Trail. Also, the plank bridge at Grinnell Lake is out, all in the same area there, so you'll need to follow the flagging to view the lake. Iceberg Lake is posted for bear frequenting, but is open. And at the Swift Current Pass Trail, so if you're at Bullhead Lake, the Windmaker Suspension Bridge is in, which is exciting. At the head of Bullhead Lake, there has been an avalanche that's come down, and there's snow 2 to 5 feet deep over that trail. There's stream grading and the lack of a plank bridge and significant rock wash, and sort of has washed that trail out, so route finding skills are needed. There's some more detail I can give you again in that email on the Swift Current Pass Trail, but just know that you will encounter snow if you're on that trail. Into the St. Mary area, the St. Mary Falls, all of those trails in and around that area continue to be posted for bear frequenting, and the waterfalls continue to be absolutely stunning because we are still in the runoff season. We talked about Red Eagle Lake a little bit last week. The Park Service is still projecting that those upper suspension bridges are going to be installed later this week. There are lots of trees down to the head of the lake that you have to go over and around and through, and of course if you're carrying a backpack, that makes things a little bit difficult. So, Gunsight Pass Trail from Florence Falls, there are about 40 trees down. The trail is free of snow until about 2/10 of a mile before Gunsight Lake. There is a large avalanche chute full of snow across the trail that's about 200 yards wide. Looking at the Two Medicine and Cut Bank areas of the park, from the Cut Bank campground to the Triple Divide Pass Junction, almost the first 3 miles of this trail are open. They're in pretty good shape. There's one tree down that's easy to step over. Then once you get to the junction heading towards Morning Star Lake Campground, the trail is free of snow for the first 7/10 of a mile, and then snow cover increases from 50% to 100% cover at the campground. It's very wet and muddy. We're always reminding you to use your Leave No Trace skills. We'll keep reminding you of that. Walk right through the mud, get your boots nice and dirty. Looking at the Dawson-Pittamakan Trail, which is probably my favorite advanced trail in the park. That's a big old 18-mile day later in the summer. It's not open yet completely, but from the campground to the South Sword Trail Junction, the trail is mostly clear and in good condition. The campground at No Name is still under 3 to 5 feet of snow, so you're not going to go too far on this trail. But just keeping you posted on one of our most popular advanced trails in the park. Upper Two Medicine Lake is a good choice in the shoulder seasons. There are 3 large trees down along the trail between the Twin Falls Junction and the Upper Two Medicine Campground, so you want to stay on the trail as best you can to avoid damaging emerging vegetation. Looking at the Highway 2 corridor, you should note that Harrison Lake is closed due to a carcass on the trail and bear activity. In the North Fork, looking at Bowman Lake, there's 100 yards of avalanche debris and snow bridge about 5.5 miles from the trailhead there along the Bowman Lake Trail. If you have trail conditions or pictures or videos that you'd like to share for next week's River Roads and Trails Report, I would love to see them. You can send them to me at Courtney@glacierguides.com. Looking at backpacking, as we reported last week, the trails are really starting to open up, and you're starting to see this reflected on the backcountry campsite map. For example, Red Eagle Head, Quartz, Lakes Foot, Lake Francis, Cosley, Elizabeth Foot, and Gable Creek already have one or more nights completely booked up this weekend. Belly River is really popular for a reason, and definitely have some alternate routes in your head if you're going out to the Backcountry Permit Office to try to get a route planned. You should know in the backcountry that Snyder Campground and Lincoln Lake Campground are both going to be closed for the summer due to the lingering effects of the Sprague fire and all the cleanup that needs to be done in those drainages. For front country campgrounds, Cut Bank is in primitive status. Closed include Quartz, Logging, and Avalanche. Most of the campgrounds are open and they are filling. Fish Creek filled yesterday at 8:25 a.m., so keep that in mind if you're trying to camp at Fish Creek. St. Mary filled yesterday at 3 p.m. and Mini Glacier filled yesterday shortly after 3 p.m. Fire danger is low, which is awesome. This rain this weekend should keep that low. And just another friendly reminder about dogs in the park as part of our partnership with the Park Service. Dogs are not permitted on roads past the vehicle closure, and they are not permitted on the trails at all unless you have a permit issued by a Glacier National Park ranger. So this has been your River Roads and Trails Report for Friday, June 15th. We really hope to see you tomorrow here for our Wild and Scenic Rivers celebration and speaker series, barbecue and beer. What could be more fun than to celebrate our 3 Wild and Scenic Rivers in our backyard with all of our friends? So see you here at 1 and see you next week for the next River Roads and Trails Report. Thanks, y'all.